They wrote the rules on a heavy concrete wall, expecting the spirit to stagger and fall. I memorized the lessons from the rigid text, always wondering what illusion comes next. But the real education is a silent seed planted in the marrow where the soul can feed. I'm dropping the books and the borrowed design, tuning my ear to the internal line. It's the soul syllabus, the internal wisdom, building the foundation of my own quiet kingdom. Unlearning the noise and the heavy disguise, seeing the truth through my own open eyes. Open eyes. Yeah. The blackboard is covered in somebody's fear, selling a vision that was never quite clear. They graded the mind, but they starved the chest, leaving the intuition completely unexpressed. I'm erasing the chalk and the standard grade, stepping outside of the artificial shade. The rhythm inside is the only true guide, washing the system in the rising tide. Is the soul syllabus, the internal wisdom, building the foundation of my own quiet kingdom. Unlearning the noise and the heavy disguise, seeing the truth through my own open eyes. Yeah. Carving my legacy into the sand. No ghost rider for the pain I felt, playing the cards that the silence dealt. The fiber is thick and the texture is rough, but the ink I'm using is more than enough. Every mistake is a wax stamp of truth, washing away the naive ghosts of youth. Parchment and pride in the written seal, keeping it heavy, making it real. I'm the author and the blood and the bone, taking the throne that is strictly my own. Strictly my own. The world wants to edit the way that I breathe, giving me scripts that I choose to leave. I'm stitching the chapters with silver and gold, refusing the stories that they want told. The archive is pulsing in the palm of the fist, rising through the heavy gray morning mist. The signature is deep and it won't ever fade, solid in the sun in the middle of the shade. Parchment and pride and the written seal, keeping it heavy and making it real. I'm the author and the blood and the bone, taking the throne that is strictly my own. bright, but the metal is cold. A story of power that's frequently told. They see the glitter and the elegant pose, but not the thorns at the base of the rose. My neck is straining under collective eyes, searching for truth in a mountain of lies. I'm balancing duty and the need to be free, while the whole world is looking at me. The heavy crown and the weighted expectations, navigating the pride and the silent frustrations. It's the cost of the light and the height of the throne. Standing in a crowd, but feeling alone. The audience claps, but they don't feel the dent, wondering where all the energy went. I'm a vessel for hope and a target for hate, trying to carry the terrible weight. The archive is full of the pressure to win, thinning the spirit and stretching the skin. I'm more than a symbol or a beautiful face. I'm just a woman in a difficult space. The heavy crown and the weighted expectations, navigating the pride and the silent frustrations. It's the cost of the light and the high of the throne. Standing in a crowd, but feeling alone. The industry is ticking like a plastic clock, trying to force the spirit to fit the block. But my internal rhythm has a different law, free from the pressure and the corporate claw. I don't rush for the master or the golden plate. I'm moving at a speed that feels like fate. The metronome is broken in the palm of my hand as I reclaim the movement and the land. Sovereign rhythm in the self-governed pulse, refusing to let the machine convulse. It's the autonomy of the kick and the snare, breathing my own oxygen and air. Oxygen and air. They want a fast loop for a shallow mind, but the deepest grooves are what I find. I'm fanning the embers of a slow burning fire, rising much higher than the wire. The archive is pulsing in a steady blue heat, walking to the vibration of my own feet. I'm the architect of the space and the time, turning the silence into something sublime. Sovereign rhythm and the self-governed pulse, refusing to let the machine convulse. Is the autonomy of the kick and the snare, breathing my own oxygen and air. My oxygen and air. Sovereign rhythm. Sovereign rhythm. Sovereign rhythm. Sovereign rhythm. Sovereign rhythm and the self-governed pulse. Sovereign rhythm and the self-governed pulse. The exterior is forged in the furnace of the street, hardened by the friction of the rhythm and the beat. I'm wearing a mask made of iron and of stone, protecting the marrow and the secrets of the bone. But the core is a liquid that they can't contain, flowing through the cracks and the cooling of the rain. It's the sharpness of the blade and the softness of the hand, the only way to truly understand. Embracing the fluid resilience, finding the light in the middle of the brilliance. It's the synthesis of the hammer and the silk, feeding the spirit on the honey and the milk. You gotta be unshakable when the wind begins to blow, but flexible enough to let the river flow. The archive is a vessel for the fire and the well, a story that the surface will never quite tell. I'm moving like a shadow through the bars of the cage, writing a new movement on a very old page. It's the strength to be silent and the courage to be kind, the ultimate treasure that I finally find. Finally find iron and grace and the fluid resilience, finding the light in the middle of the brilliance. It's the synthesis of the hammer and the silk, feeding the spirit on the honey and the milk. I'm stripping the layers of the mask I wore, leaving the pieces on the cold stone floor. The world gave me names that I didn't choose, winning the game that I wanted to lose. The noise was a wall that was built too high, blocking the view of the internal sky. But the silence is teaching me how to be, finally learning to simply just see the great unlearning and deconstructing ego. Watch watching the shadows and the false truths go. It's the sacrifice of the image and the hollow pride, opening up to the light deep inside. I looked in the mirror and saw a ghost, the version of me that I hated the most, heavily invested in a story so thin, trying to hide what was pulsing within. I'm erasing the chapters and the lines of the past, building a structure that finally will last. It's not about adding but taking away, clearing the clouds for a much brighter day. The great unlearning and deconstructing ego, watching the shadows and the false truths go. It's the sacrifice of the image and the hollow pride, opening up to the light deep inside. The sirens are singing a frantic song, but inside the center I'm keeping it calm. The sidewalk is jagged and the buildings are tall, watching the shadows as they stretch and they fall. I'm finding a temple in the grease and the steam, living the truth and protecting the dream. It's not in the mountain or the far away place, but here in the middle of the crowded space. Urban sanctuary in the concrete cathedral, rising above the noise and the evil. It's the spirit and the structure and the iron and glass, watching the heavy clouds and the minutes pass. The graffiti is scripture on a crumbling brick. The pulse of the people is steady and thick. I'm kneeling on pavement where the oil stains shine, turning the water into vintage wine. The archive is humming in the wires above, a frequency built on the labor and love. I am the altar and I am the prayer, breathing the spirit in the city air. Urban sanctuary in the concrete cathedral, rising above the noise and the evil. It's the spirit and the structure and the iron and glass, watching the heavy clouds and the minutes pass. looking at the columns and the faded red lines, counting the cost of the wasted old times, calculated risks that didn't quite pay, leaving the debt that I carried every day. The numbers were heavy and the balance was low, with nowhere to turn and nowhere to go. But the red is turning into vintage gold as the truth of the story begins to unfold. The faded ledger and the debt of freedom, leaving the ruins of a hollow kingdom. Every loss was a payment for the soul, making the fragments finally feel whole. I'm closing the book and I'm burning the page, escaping the bars of the financial cage. What I thought was a failure was a secret key, unlocking the version that was waiting for me. The archive is lighter and the ink is dry, under the wide and the infinite sky. I don't know a shadow or a ghost of thing. Listen to the way that I finally sing. The faded ledger and the debt of freedom, leaving the ruins of a hollow kingdom. Every loss was a payment for the soul, making the fragments finally feel whole. The market is screaming for a cheaper clone, but I'm standing solid on a different stone. They trade their essence for a moment of light, disappearing slowly in the middle of the night. I'm holding the line without making a sound, rooted in the silence and the hallowed ground. It's a quiet war and a steady aim, refusing to play the artificial game. The quiet rebellion and the silent revolution, providing the spirit with the final resolution. It's the power of no and the beauty of truth, reclaiming the wisdom and the fire of youth. A thousand echoes are calling my name, offering a portion of the hollow fame. But the archive is secret and it can't be bought, built on the battles that were internally fought. I'm moving in the shadows where the vision is clear, leaving the static and the collected fear. The signature is subtle but the impact is deep, waking the promises that the others sleep. The quiet rebellion and the silent revolution, providing the spirit with the final resolution. It's the power of no and the beauty of truth, reclaiming the wisdom and the fire of youth. Pulling back the muscle in the heavy skin to find the quiet place where the truths begin. Where truths begin. The surface is a playground for the passing wind, but the core is a fortress that has never sinned. I'm looking for the calcium and the ancient white that holds the structure through the longest night. It's not in the muscle or the nervous strain, but in the marrow that doesn't feel the pain. Marrow of the soul and the essential truth, the unshakable foundation and the eternal youth. It's the skeletal rhythm in the spirit's frame, stripping away the image and the empty name. The world is obsessed with the decorative lace, trying to hide what is written on the face, but the archive is deep in the hollow of the bone, a vibration that I can finally call my own. I'm diving past the labels and the frantic pace, touching the center of the sacred space. It's a raw frequency and a steady beat, walking the earth with honest feet. Marrow of the soul and the essential truth, the unshakable foundation and the eternal youth. It's the skeletal rhythm in the spirit's frame, stripping away the image and the empty name. The curtain rises on my dish from candlelight. After walking through the middle of the night, I'm not chasing the ghost of who I used to be. Finally comfortable with the woman that I see. The technique is sharp, but the ego is small. Learning how to stand after learning how to fall. It's the quality of the breath and the tone and the frequency that is strictly my own. The third act and the seasoned voice, the power of the silence and the power of the choice. It's the wisdom of the years in every single note, the deepest story that I ever wrote. That I ever wrote. I don't need the pyrotechnics or the loud display. I can say more with what I don't say. The archive is a cellar full of vintage wine, getting better and deeper with the passage of time. I mastered the rhythm and the art of the pause, living for the truth instead of the applause. The vibration is steady and the vision is clear, leaving the vanity and the lingering fear. Of the silence and the power of the choice. The wisdom of the years in every single note, the deepest story that I ever wrote. That I ever wrote. The spiral in the shell and the cosmic design, tracing the curve of the infinite line. There's a math in the spirit, in the code in the cell, a story that the stars in the oceans tell. I see the pattern in the leaf and the grain, the same geometry in the pleasure and pain. It's the fire in the pocket and the pulse in the wrist, the beautiful order that we can't resist. The golden ratio in the universal groove, watching the pieces of the universe move. It's the perfect balance of the rhythm and light, shining through the day, in the middle of the night. The syncopation is a fraction of a higher degree, unlocking the secrets of the lock and the key. I'm alignment with the axis and the spin of the earth, measuring the value and the weight of the worth. The archive is a compass and a perfect square, finding the symmetry in the very air. It's not a coincidence or a random stroke, but the frequency of the words that the spirits go. Golden ratio in the universal groove, the golden ratio, watching the pieces of the universe move. The universe moves, the perfect balance of the rhythm and light, shining through the day, shining through the day, in the middle of the night. I'm planting seeds in a soil that I won't see, growing a forest for the ones who come after me. Come after me. The lamp is heavy and the oil is pure and gold, a story of resilience that refuses to be old. I'm passing the blueprints and the maps of the stars, healing the collective and the ancient scars. It's not about the glory or the individual name, but keeping the light within the sacred frame. Legacy of light and hand in the torch, sitting with the wisdom on the golden porch. It's the gift to the family and the strength of the chain, washing the spirit like a summer rain. Like a summer rain. To the golden family who is listening in the dark, you carry the fire and the very first spark. Don't let the industry or the shadows dim the glow. Protect the message everywhere that you go. The archive is a lantern for the weary and the lost, a treasure that was paid at the heavy cost. Keep the frequency honest and the intention clear, leaving no room for the static or the fear. Legacy of light and hand in the torch, sitting with the wisdom on the golden porch. It's the gift to the family and the strength of the chain, washing the spirit like a summer rain. Like a summer rain. Like a summer rain. ink is dry and the candle is low. I've said everything that I needed to know. The journey was long and the path was steep, but I'm keeping the promises I had to keep. I'm stepping back from the center of the frame, letting the music finally lose its name. It's a complete surrender to the final line, trusting the rhythm and the sacred design. The final verse and the complete surrender, leaving a message that's honest and tender. It's the peace of the artist in the end of the fight, walking away into the beautiful light. The beautiful light. The archive is open and the shelves are full, feeling the gravity and the magnetic pull. I've given my marrow and I've given my breath, conquering the silence and the fear of death. Now the golden family can't carry the sound, lifting the frequency off of the ground. My work is finished and my spirit is free, finally becoming who I'm meant to be. The final verse and the complete surrender, leaving a message that's honest and tender. It's the peace of the artist in the end of the fight, walking away into the beautiful light.